Came in kind of loud, came in kind of hot, but I'm here. How y'all living, man? How's the family doing? What's going on with y'all? We here. We here. What's up, Nikki the God? Everybody pile on in the room. A lot of stuff we're gonna chop up game with about tonight. What's up, Michael Wharton? War Talks, my brother. What's up, Afro Elite? Glad to have everybody in here. People are piling in slowly and surely. And listen, guys, I got the new deodorant. We're going to make an announcement for the new deodorant I keep telling you guys about. We got that package. The launch is going to go down in about 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks. This is a big thing, man. The deodorant we got is real fly. It's based on our culture. This is so fly. We even have a little booklet that goes with the deodorant. That's how thorough and that's how important this is. So yeah, we got a big launch, a big announcement for that. That's going to launch in a couple of weeks. This is going to be the hottest thing on the streets, man. Our deodorant is going to be like the new crack. That's how hot it is. That's how thorough it is. You guys are going to love it, especially musty niggas. Y'all are really going to love it. It's going to be a life changer. If you are musty, dusty, and crusty, this is going to change your life. We're going to alleviate the must out here in these streets. You guys are going to love me. It is so fly. We wish I was doing some testing on it, man. I put some on. What day was it? Like Thursday, and I just tried to wait and see how long I could wear it without replenishing. Dude, I had that stuff on for like 48 hours. I did an experiment. I didn't bathe for 48 hours, which is unusual for me. I take like 2 baths a day, but I wanted to experiment. And I put it on and left it on for 48 hours. No must in sight. I stayed fresh. This thing is serious. Now, I did wash my ass afterwards, but I'm saying I'm making sure everything is straight up and down. You guys are going to love it. This is a game changer. We're going to change the game out here with this deodorant. And it's real fly. I just cannot wait for you guys to just experience the launch that we have, and it's going to be in a couple of weeks. And by the way, everybody, come on out to the Hidden History Museum if you're in LA. We got another event we're going to do I think the second week in August. That's going to be the next event. I'm trying to see what we're going to do. If we're going to do another poetry slam, I was thinking about doing a rap battle, or a talent show, just a basic talent show. So y'all throw some ideas at me on what we can do for the next event. I want to expand, though. The poetry thing was good, but I kind of want to expand. I don't want to just focus on the herbal tea crowd. And some people were saying, well, you might not want to bring in the rap crowd because, we don't want to, we that might bring another raunchy element or whatever. I don't know. I'm open to a lot of stuff, but I digress. Um, few things we're going to touch on, and shout out to everybody coming in the room. I posted up a link, man, about 30, 45 minutes ago, and that confirmed what we've been saying. The affirmative action thing, I've been telling people that ain't every foundation of Black Americans. We ain't tripping on that. We're not tripping on them gutting affirmative action. And when they did the affirmative action toss out, everybody was looking at us. They were like, hey, how you guys feel? They thought we were going to be all downtrodden. They thought we were going to be kicking and screaming and moaning and boo-hooing. Notice that when they gutted affirmative action, everything was all about how are we going to react to it. People were kind of doing the Birdman hand rub, thinking that they were going to stick it to us and we were going to start crying. And they thought they going to really, really pull the rug from under us. And we were like, man, that we didn't trip on that. And now Washington Post, they did a poll and they said that, hell, most Black Americans approve of them getting that bullshit out of here, which is what we've been saying. We ain't tripping on no affirmative action. That's not hurting us. because we haven't benefited from it. We know what the effects of affirmative action is: nothing. And most of us, as the polls are saying, we're like, good riddance. Get that nonsense out of here. And let's talk about these reparations for our lineage. We're talking about lineage based things now. So we're glad, many of us are very glad affirmative action, they're getting some of that stuff up out of here. It doesn't benefit us. It's one of those catch all programs that lifts up minorities and people of color and all of that nonsense. And we're just not on that vibe no more. We ain't on that bag. We're very laser focused about our lineage. And Clarence Thomas, he wrote something in one of the documents specifying that affirmative action and the tangible set asides and benefits is supposed to be for descendants of freedmen. So sometime a clock is right twice a day, and sometimes a coon is right twice in his life. And Clarence Thomas is actually correct on that. Sometimes you got to give credit where credit is due. Sometimes a coon will get it right. He got it right on that. Affirmative action, that's supposed to be for the descendants of freedmen, foundational Black Americans. And the reason why a lot of us are not tripping on it is because they, the dominant society, they didn't expect us to be on our square. They didn't expect us to focus and rally around our lineage. Because the thing is, man, we've rejected a lot of the Pan-Africanism mindset. That's why notice the Pan-African people, like the N-Cobras and all of these people, they're having hissy fits because the name of the game was to sell us the Wakanda package. To tell us, well, this ain't really our home, and there's a beautiful Wakanda in the middle of Africa, and oh, if we pray and we get to go home one day, fuck all that. There ain't no Wakanda. Ain't no Wakanda over there. The Wakanda is here. We're gonna make the Wakanda happen right where we are. It ain't nothing popping over there, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to denigrate any African brothers and sisters, but they know that's why they're over here. There's nothing popping over there. There is no Wakanda. When we go over there, unfortunately, we're getting finessed. I saw a video earlier where they're over there in the Gambia. There's Black American women going over there and then getting killed. I'm telling y'all, man, this is why I stopped. I couldn't. I couldn't run game on folks. I had to stop with the global kumbaya, man, because that was putting a lot of people in jeopardy. And I wasn't going to sit up here and lie to people. See, a lot of people who are in the educational or historic empowerment community, or supposed to be empowerment community, there's this whole emphasis on prioritizing Africa and Pan-Africanism. And I'm like, hey man, that really ain't it. And the one who woke me up to that was Dr. Claude Anderson, to be honest. If y'all remember, there's an interview that I did with Claude Anderson on my broadcast. I want to say around 2016, something like that. I got to find it. I'm going to repost some of it one day. And he kind of woke my eyes up to it because I was talking to him about on air. Hey, man, should we really build something with the folks in Africa? Is that important? He was like, oh, no, that's useless. We can't do nothing with them over there. Claude Anderson kept it a buck. He was like, man, we can't do nothing with them over there. No, we got to get things popping here. And it's just not happening over there. They got to get it together over there themselves. We got to do what we need to do right here. We got all the resources. We got the numbers. We can get it popping right here. And he was the one who was talking about how he would use the term Native Black Americans, how we are exceptional people, which we are. And once we start focusing on our lineage and our foundational Black American culture, look at all the stuff that we accomplish, man. We get stuff done. We start getting things popping by consolidating our power. See, the thing is, we're told in order to be powerful, we have to open up the door and let everybody in. No, that makes you weak. That makes you weak, ladies and gentlemen. That's just like drugs. When you start cutting the drugs up with everything, you weaken the drug. When you get some cocaine and you start putting baking soda and you start putting fentanyl and you start cutting it and stepping on it with all of these additives in order to try to stretch it out, you weaken it. It ain't pure no more. But the pure, uncut raw, that's the most highly prized. I'm just using a drug reference just for visuals, psychological visuals. I'm not promoting any drug use. So if there's any crackheads in here, I don't want to trigger a relapse. Okay? So let me use another reference. Let's use coffee. How about that? Because I don't want to trigger. I'm talking about drugs, and there's somebody trembling right now with a pipe. Like, oh Lord, this shit be calling me. Tariq, gonna put the white horse back on my shoulders. No, I'm not trying to get you back on the white horse, my nigga. I know people struggle with the narcotic, you know, but coffee, if you put a bunch of stuff in coffee, that weakens the coffee. If you start putting cream and caramel and milk and honey and all of these additives, it's no longer coffee. It's a goddamn latte. And a latte is not coffee. It's not real coffee. You weaken things by putting a whole bunch of other stuff in it, but when you leave stuff alone and just keep it raw, keep the nucleus there, that's where the strength is. And we are looking at our strength. When we consolidate our foundational Black American culture and focus on that, we are strong. We're very powerful. We've been weakening ourselves, opening up the door with this whole minority nonsense. Well, we got this white guy in here. All right, let's get this real Chris Brunette. Chris Brunette. Well, what happened to you, Chris? I was going to let you in. When I acknowledged him, he ran. What happened, Chris? I was going to let you in here, brother. Who was real Chris? You raised your hand to get on. I pushed the button to let you on. You must have did it by mistake when I called your name. You're like, hey, fuck, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, God. I was trying to get it. I should have had on my Finsta account. It was a white man who had his real account. He meant to log on to his fake Finsta account, but he pretends to be a black woman. His other screen name is Shaquanda Jenkins. So he's about to log on to that. All right, so my bad, dude. All right, let's get what's your name? Evandro? Let's get Evandro in here. Because we got a lot of folks in here. What's up, Tesla? I see you. I see you out there in them streets thirst trapping, Tez. But I like Tesla's thirst trapping because it's not disrespectful. You ain't showing too much. You're still a mother. You know how to do it right before it gets stanky. That's how you do it. Tesla know how to thirst trap right before it gets stank. Y'all women need to learn something about that. Right there on the cusp. Some of them just take it over the line. Just stank, stank, stank. Learn from the real women out here. You can thirst trap without it going over the stank line. Eva, what's your name, brother?
Avandro.
Avandro, how you doing, sir?
Chilling, man. How you doing,
I'm
Sri?
good, brother. What's on your mind, my brother?
No, chilling, man. No, I kind of, I get the FBA position. You know what I'm saying? Like globally, like where do you guys fit in terms of the diaspora? Being having the worst stereotypes and at the same time being culturally and globally one of the most important African groups.
Hmm.
It's like it's in between, right? It's like a seesaw. You get both sides of the right. You get the best of the best and you get the worst of the
Right,
worst.
right.
So it's an interesting position. One thing I always wondered, so it's like being like FBA, when you meet another foundational Black American from a different state, like a completely different region, like say you from Florida and you meet somebody from
Right.
California, is, is there a cultural connection between the
It
two?
is because see the thing is, all of us. originated somewhere in the southern states, almost all of us. A lot of people in California, they started coming out here after World War II. Many people from California, they have roots in Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. In New York, a lot of black people have roots from North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. So there's always that connection. So even if we're from different states, we have relatives somewhere in the South, and that kind of solidifies our foundational Black American lineage, and we have a commonality there. So we know we can tell we know who's who, and we can kind of feel each other's vibe, you know. But it's all love. It's all love. All right, let me get my brother Afro Elite on real quick. Brother Afro Elite, hop on, sir. Afro Elite. Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. What's on your mind, brother?
Well, first off, I want to apologize if the audio is a little weird because I'm at the gym. But
Okay, good. Good.
I wanted to talk about the affirmative action thing that you brought up. I feel as if it's the thing is white supremacy. They make mistakes sometimes, and sometimes they cut their nose to spite their face.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening with the Asians and the fact that they're pretty much getting the boot, that's going to help in the long run because they're going to have to drop well, they're minorities too. So if they can do it, why can't you do it? Because the narrative that they've been going with is they got where they are because of family values and working hard and going to school. And sorry, and they don't get any help. They're not asking for a handout. And
Yeah.
everything they get, they deserve. But with affirmative action going away, and they're getting knocked down a peg, they can't continue with the narrative that all of this is their merit now. So
Right.
that's going to help us in the long run.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. Very good point, brother. And listen, y'all remember a few weeks ago, I was talking about how when you help certain people and you don't expect anything in return, the people will get resentful because at that point, if you don't require anything in return, you just help them out. That means they have to show gratitude towards you. And then they got that hanging over their heads. And a lot of people, they don't like that pressure of having to owe somebody something. They don't like that pressure. These people know they owe us. So they have to do little gaslighting, disrespectful things to get out of the whole notion of owing us after we've done so much for them. And I'm talking about this in relation to the Asian community. The foundational Black American community, we've always helped the Asian community. During World War II, during Vietnam, y'all got to remember, we got to jog everybody's memory. You had people like Huey P. Newton, people like the Black Panthers, who were going over there, standing in solidarity with Asians over there, saying, hey, we don't need to have a war against these people. There were prominent Black people speaking out against the U.S. imperialism against the Asians over there in Vietnam and Korea and all those other places. One of the most influential foundational Black Americans at the time was Muhammad Ali. That man was on top of his game and put his career on the line to say, hey, I'm not going to go over there and harm them people. Do you know how honorable that type of shit is for a top notch, A list, foundational Black American icon at the height of his career to put his career on the line for a group of people across the seas? He said, I just don't want to go over there and harm them. That's not an honorable thing to do. Nobody over there would stand up for us like that. They haven't then and they won't now. They've never stood up for us like that. This is why Muhammad Ali has continued to be an icon for standing up for people. And also, we saw him stand up for the Asian community. So when many of them came over, remember, it was us supporting them. White people weren't really rocking with them, and they still don't really rock with them like that. When those Kung Fu movies started popping in the late 60s, early 70s. Who was going to see those movies? We're like, hey, that's another oppressed minority. Those are people of color like us. They're fighting against imperialism and white supremacy. So we want to lock hands. We want to support what you do. We respect y'all fighting against that in your movies. That's what a lot of the themes of those kung fu movies were. So we rock with you. We supported their movies. We supported their restaurants. We supported them liquor stores that they set up in the neighborhood. We didn't discriminate against them. We welcomed them with open arms. We supported their nail shops. We fed them, and then in return, there's a lot of disrespect. What we get is a Peter Liang situation where they all rally together to support Peter Liang killing a brother. You see? So we've done so much for all of these different groups, and when we don't require anything from them, they'll sit around and turn on us. And we got to start requiring stuff from people. We got to start saying, hey, man, y'all need to come through with something. If y'all want us to stand in solidarity with you, fall through. See, the thing is, with black folks, there's a lot of black folks with low self esteem. So we're just happy with getting a little sexual access. So what they'll do, they'll throw a couple of the scallywags our way and let us lay up with them. And we think that's some tangible benefit. Let's keep it above. Let's keep it above. A lot of Negroes and Negresses think that sex with an Asian person or a Latino person or somebody who's non-black, you think that's something exotic and something very sexy. You think you're doing something. You're not. Take your ass down there and get you some chitlin eating Negro and lay up with them and be happy. Find you a foundational black American who eat pig feet, greens, and lay up with them. That's exotic too. Or get you a big country exotic nigga from Atlanta somewhere. All right. We need to find and recognize the exoticness in us. And if you go to Atlanta, be sure that it's a men. If you're going down there to get a woman, be sure it's a woman. T.S. Giselle is in Atlanta. Okay. So make sure, if speaking of Atlanta, you got to check the pipes on the furnace. All right. Because there's a lot of funny style stuff going down there. All right. But I'm just saying. Let's see. We got a lot of folks in here.